agent, special agent?
Either or.
Titles don't matter to you?
That's fine.
Okay. Mr. Sanford, I'm showing you what's been marked for identification purposes of Defense Exhibit 60. Would you look at that for a moment before I ask you questions and just kind of review it?
Okay.
Have you seen that document before?
I believe so.
And that's Mrs. Adelson, meaning Donna Adelson's visa to travel to Vietnam, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to get out of your space so you can have your own space and I'll ask you questions.
Okay.
Now, you would agree that's the visa that she obtained to go to Vietnam, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it was good for entry, valid. Now, some of it's in Vietnamese, and I don't know Vietnamese. You may,
No,
but
ma'am.
it has it in English. The same information right near the Vietnamese language. Do you see that?
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And the visa was good for entry, valid from November the 13th, 2023, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And it was good until November the 2nd of 2024, right?
If the dates are read right, I would call that February 11th of 2024.
You know what? I forgot that they do it backwards. They don't have them in the same date order. I'm glad you pointed that out to me. So it was until February the 2nd
Yes, ma'am.
of 2024. And that's the 90 days, I guess, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it was a 90-day visa.
Correct.
And according to the visa, it was issued for the purposes of tourism, right? If you kind of go down.
Yes, ma'am. I see it now.
Okay,
Yes,
so it was for
tourism. Yes, ma'am.
tourism, right?
Correct.
And the visa was issued, it said it was good for single/multiple entries, right? That's up near the top.
The top. Good for single/multiple entry. Yes, ma'am.
And what that means is it's not that she can travel to Vietnam and once she leaves she can't come back, right? It means that she can come and go from Vietnam, right?
I'm not sure if that's what that means or not. I don't know.
You're not familiar with that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. May I approach? Thank you.
You're welcome.
So when you get to the airport and you spoke to the FBI agent there, what did you do next?
Tried to find out what terminal they were at, that they were flying out of, and trying to get to that area. It's a pretty big airport, so we tried to move to that area.
Okay. When you say we, it's this group that you've talked about, someone from the sheriff's office, someone from customs, and yourself?
Probably. There might have been 3 of us, so we had to go through security, so that's a lengthy process to get through security to go back.
Sure. And at some point you got to the gate where they were going to be?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sit down somewhere?
No, I don't believe I sat down.
Did anybody else sit down?
I don't recall.
So you all just kind of stood up around the area of the gate where they were going to leave?
I believe so.
Okay. And you knew what Donna Adelson looked like, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what her husband looked like, Harvey, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're there, you're going to obviously recognize them if they're in the general vicinity of the gate, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at some point you saw them.
Correct.
Okay. I forgot to ask you this. So the warrant was actually obtained somewhere between 5 and 6. Well, let me say it this way. It was obtained around 5. It was entered, but you learned about it around 6 o'clock, I think you previously said.
I believe so. About the time I was getting to the airport is when I found out it was obtained.
Okay. And when you travel back to where the gate is and you all go together, you said you didn't sit. Where were you with respect to the jetway?
We were down a little ways. It's hard to describe how it's set up. There's different gates, and we were across and there's a middle section too, so we were on the back side. I didn't know if they knew what I looked like. I figured they did because they had seen trials, and we knew that they watched the trials, so I figured they knew what I looked like, so I stayed away.
Did you stay away from the other folks who were participating, like off by yourself?
No, not necessarily.
All kind of together?
A couple of us were together.
Okay. I don't do a lot of travel, so you feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but when I have gone on an airplane, was this airport like you get into a section, I forget what they call them, like the gates are at like different concourses, right?
It was a terminal.
Terminal.
It was a concourse. Yeah, either way.
Okay, either way, so a terminal. And when you walk down the terminal, are you describing that basically there's a walkway down to the end of the terminal, right? Like a kind of a middle row, if you will.
To the terminal where they're going to get on the plane, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know the terminology, but
I'm
when
not
you're
sure.
walking down towards the gate, there will be gates on one side and gates on the opposite
Correct,
side. Okay.
correct.
All right.
And
Sorry
there
about
is
that.
there's some other structures in the middle of this airport, in between the gates. So you had some walls, you had some little stores. So it wasn't just like a big open concourse.
Right.
Okay.
Little food shops along the way and
Sure.
magazines and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But the layout is basically you've got a walkway with gates on each side.
Correct.
Okay, and so I just want to make sure I understood your testimony. Their gate would have been on the left or the right? If you don't remember, it doesn't matter.
I don't recall.
You don't recall. But your testimony is you kind of went opposite of where their gate was, where you could monitor them, but not be where they could see you necessarily.
Pretty much, yes. I wasn't really monitoring them. Somebody else was.
Okay, did you see them?
I did.
Okay, and when you saw them, were they seated, waiting for the flight?
I believe so.
I mean, the
Seated or standing, one of the two. But they were amongst the other passengers waiting to get on the plane in that area.
Okay, the flight wasn't scheduled to take off until 8:10 p.m., right?
That sounds correct.
Okay, so you were there for a couple of hours and the warrants issued, correct?
No, I didn't get there till about 6:30. So that's when I first arrived at the airport. By the time I got back there, they were pretty close to. By the time I got through security, got everything, got back there, it was pretty close to boarding time.
Pretty close to boarding time.
Yes, ma'am.
But you saw them.
I did.
And were the other people who were participating, were they aware of what Mrs. Adelson looked like and her husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They were at this point.
Okay. Was everybody in plain clothes?
Not everybody.
Who was not in plain clothes?
The uniform officers from
And-
Miami-Dade.
Was the officer standing with you all?
I believe he might have been. One of them was.
Okay. You pretty sure from where you are that she would not have been able to see this group of men, one of them with, I guess, insignia and gun and belt and all that? You're pretty sure that they wouldn't have been able to
Absolutely.
see?
Yeah, there was no way they could see us where we were standing.
Okay. How long did you observe them before they started boarding the flight?
Guesstimating maybe 20 minutes.
And what do you recall them having with them?
Some small carry-on items, I don't recall.
And they were dressed in normal clothes, right?
Correct.
They weren't disguised in any way.
No.
No wigs, hats, glasses.
Nope.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was your answer? How long you were there? You saw him for how long?
Maybe 20 minutes, I don't recall.
Okay.
Could have been longer.
Did you all travel to that vicinity together?
All of us?
Yes, sir.
No, I believe it was me and me and maybe the uniform officers. I think the customs officers were already there
Okay.
before we got there.
Okay.
There was only like 3 or 4 of us that walked together down there.
So somebody was already at the gate? Is that what
I
you're
believe
saying?
so. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So they had a couple of carry-on bags, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I might get the terminology wrong again, but when you go, when they call you up and say, okay, you know, sections, whatever, you can board the flight. Old people, babies, all that stuff, right? They have different calling periods. Is that fair to
Sure.
say? Okay. So they started calling boarding for the flight. At some point, Mrs. Adelson and her husband got in the line to board the flight. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you observed that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And they got in the line, and then they, at some point, I don't know what it's called, but they have to show their phone ticket or a physical ticket to somebody to make sure they can go on, right?
I think they scan it maybe. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's where I call it like a little check-in place to make sure you got your ticket. I don't know what it's called. But then after you've shown your ticket, they let you by to board the plane.
Yes, ma'am.
And the area between where they give their ticket or show their ticket and before they board the plane, is that what you're referring to as a jetway? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am. After you scan the ticket in this particular airport, they're all different. this particular airport, they scan their tickets and they walk through these sliding glass doors, and it's like a tunnel that you walk down to go to the plane. Inside that sliding glass doors where the officers were standing waiting. The plainclothes customs officers were inside of that.
Okay, and that's where they were when Mrs. Adelson was arrested.
Correct.
Yeah, she went past the ticket into the jetway.
Yes, ma'am.
Not actually get on the plane.
No, ma'am.
But you had the warrant before they got in line, right?
Correct.
And you watched them for however many minutes before they got called up to put their ticket in, right?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to get them not in a crowd of people, right in the middle of all these people. Wanted to get them kind of separated off, and after they're through the jetway, by themselves over there.
Well, before they started, I mean, when they got in line, then there are a bunch of people right there with them, right?
There were people there with them the whole time. There were people sitting around them.
Right.
Because it's very narrow seating
right.
where they're sitting, and they were right in the middle of all these people, and then they got in line with all these people. Once they go one at a time, people are going to the plane. Once they went through, those officers just stopped them, pulled them to the side, away from the line, and just began speaking with them.
But when they go through the line, there's a line of people behind them going to get on the plane, right?
That's correct.
So when they go through, the glass doors are going to open, and that's where you're going to take her into custody?
Yes, off to the side. Yes, past them, where they're still getting on the plane, but we're past them.
Well, people are getting on the plane. They're coming by through the same general vicinity of where you took her into custody.
Sure.
And those same people were out there while you sat there for however many minutes watching her. Were you could have taken her into custody there too, right?
Sure.
But you didn't.
No, ma'am.
You waited until she went through the little gate, and then you arrested her.
Yes, ma'am.
And when she was taken into custody, her husband was standing there with her, right?
Correct.
And you went through the little process that you went through, and you said they had 2 carry-on bags, right?
I believe so.
In your investigation, you learned that with the 2 carry-on bags, they had maybe some additional luggage, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And
checked luggage.
Right. A couple of pieces, right?
Correct.
And in those couple of pieces, they had just regular clothing, right?
I assume, yes.
They didn't show up with boxes full of clothes.
No.
Okay.
I never saw the checked on luggage. I have no idea how much they checked.
Okay. So in your investigation, you didn't learn that?
In my investigation, learn what?
That they only had 2 checked bags and 2 carry-ons?
No.
Okay. She obviously had her cell phone, and you've testified that you got that from her.
Yes, ma'am.
And you described this little interaction before she'd give you the cell phone. She didn't fight with you, did she? Like, she wasn't swinging on you?
And she didn't try to hit me, no, ma'am.
You didn't have to take her to the ground and grab it out of her hands?
No, ma'am. I was very gentle.
Okay. You got the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the phone is part of the evidence of what you went on, and somebody downloaded and looked to see what was on it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And her husband, Harvey, he had some credit cards and a little bit of cash, right?
Mr. Adelson? I didn't search Mr. Adelson.
Okay. Did Mrs. Adelson have a bunch of cash on her?
I don't know. I didn't search her.
Okay. So you're not aware of what they got when she was taken into custody?
No.
Okay. I need to ask counsel something about your ruling, Judge. Could I have just one moment?
Please approach. The bailiff will take you to the jury room, and we'll finish the process. Everyone can be seated. We will bring the jurors back in the next 5 minutes. If anyone needs to use the restroom,